guys, I haven't done a video on this channel in a while, and I am going to do the Harry Potter tag today. So I saw this first on Joey Garcefa's channel. I have like the little video pulled up here, so I have the questions that I'm reading. So if you're wondering like why I keep looking over here, that's why. So I'm going to do this tag. I thought it was a pretty cool tag, and it's just kind of like, you know, getting your opinion on Harry Potter, because everyone has their like own favorites in the series or whatever. So obviously I've read all the books like a billion times and seen all the movies and all that, so you know, I'm familiar with it. So first question is favorite book. Well, obviously it's gonna have to be the 7th one, the last one, the Deathly Hallows, because it just kind of like nicely ties everything together, and after you've been with these characters for so long and you care about them, and also just like the little details that you know, like J.K. Rowling, she's just so good. Like, not only is she great at, like, you know, writing, so that way you follow everything, like, and you see it clearly in your mind, but also she's just a really good author in the fact that, like, she thinks everything through, she plans it all out, so that way, when at the very end, you get to the 7th book and the very ending, and then you think back to, like, books and books ago, and you're just like, oh my gosh, like, how did I not see that detail or that little, like, you know, clue or whatever, and you're just like, what? Like, that was so long ago. And like, when you go back and reread the books, you obviously see like little hints thrown here and there that you just like didn't see. Just like, for example, like the locket from like, you know, the 5th book, and you're just like, oh my gosh, that was that locket. Like, it was in the like the tapestry that they threw out, and they threw it out or whatever, and you just like, you know, all that, it just ties it up so nicely. So that's my favorite book. And then favorite movie, I would have to say, I don't know, it's weird, I really like the first one, and actually I just discovered the other day that Chris Columbus did Home Alone. Like, I don't know why I didn't know this, like, am I the only one? That's weird. But I was watching Home Alone, it was on TV, and I saw that it was done by Chris Columbus, and I was like, what? Like, no wonder. They're so awesome, you know, both the 2 Harry Potters that he did, the first ones, and both the first 2 Home Alone, you know, they're like magical and everyone just likes them, you know. And I noticed from Home Alone that it's sort of like similar music that he just like tends to pick, and it's just like so magical. So I would probably have to say the very first movie, because it's like so introductory and it's just very sweet, and you know, it's kind of like that kid's dream or whatever, and you're just, I don't know, I'm just like so fucking happy. And then the least favorite book, it would have to be the 5th one, Order of the Phoenix, and I actually posted a picture of it on Instagram the other day, and I had this whole discussion with like people that commented on there, because I definitely don't like it, and I'm actually rereading the whole series right now, so I'm on the 5th book, which is like my least favorite. The reason I didn't like it when I first read it was because, one, it's just a very gloomy, dark, sort of brooding mood throughout the whole entire book, you know. I mean, yes, like people die, like Sirius died, obviously that's sad, but just the whole entire book, not even that one part, because like the 4th book, like Goblet of the Fire, was pretty happy all throughout, and then like Cedric died at the end, so yes, that was like sad, but the whole book wasn't sad. So the fact that Sirius died, I don't think is, you know, like the reason that I think that it's like, you know, depressing. I just think it's because Harry is entirely depressed and angry all the fucking time. Just like, oh my gosh. And I know he's like a teenager, but you know, when I was reading this, I was like a teenager too, and I was just thinking like, oh my fucking god, like, snap the fuck out of it, like, what are you doing? And I don't know, it was just annoying. I just didn't like it because I thought it was like very negative. But looking back on it after finishing the whole series, I can see why, because obviously you had to like tie in the whole like, you know, Voldemort coming back thing, where like his soul was torn and like Harry had a part of it in him, and then he started trying to close his mind afterwards, after that book, you know, after Sirius died and all that. He was just like, you know, like, what have I done? But you know, so I can see that, because like he kept getting like all this anger from Voldemort and just like hatred and stuff, so I can definitely see like why it was that way, but that doesn't mean that I really liked it. The next question is parts of the book movies that made you cry. In the books, definitely Dumbledore's death made me cry. I think there were a couple of other times. Well, okay, I remember I cried when Dumbledore died in the 6th book, and then I also cried at the very end of the 7th book, you know, when like Harry was dying, and then the very end, just because it all ended, like, so it wasn't even like because of the book, it was just because it all ended, and I was just so upset, and you know, it was like a death and things, so that made me cry. And then from the movies, definitely Dumbledore's death, and then Dobby's death, I didn't cry when Sirius died though for some reason. I don't really know. And even in the book I didn't. I just wasn't like that fond of him. Oh, and I also cried. Oh my gosh, I cried the part when Dumbledore died. It wasn't when he died that I cried. I cried at the part of the funeral because it was like, it said something like, you know, Harry was feeling like for the first time he realized that, you know, he had nobody. Like, he had no one to be there for him, to hold him, to have that parental touch. You know, he realized that now everyone's gone, like his parents, Sirius, Dumbledore, and he doesn't have that parental figure anymore to just like give him a hug. And that really touched me a lot because you guys know that my family doesn't live around here like in America. They live in Ukraine, and then my other half of the family, they live in Cuba. So I don't really have a lot of people here. Yes, like my mom is here, but she didn't raise me really. So to me, it's just like, it was so touching because I just like really craved like my grandma's hug, who she like raised me, you know, who raised me or whatever. But at the time, I was like a teenager when I was reading this, and I was definitely like very emotional, and I was just missing my family. I haven't visited like to go back at that point for like a few years. I was here and I haven't been back when I read this book, so it was just like really touching to me. If you could hook up with any HP character, who would it be? I don't know, if just from the books, like not judging from the actors or like the movies, just not taking that into consideration, how they look like and all that, just like the books, I would probably have to say Harry, because he's just like such a noble character, you know. Like, I don't like guys that are like cocky or, I don't know, like think too much of themselves. And he's definitely like, you know, humble, but at the same time he still steps up to the plate and does what he has to do, and he's brave and all that, but he doesn't, you know, think like, oh my gosh, I'm so like, you know, I'm like the shit, you know. My cat is like, what are you doing, cat? That's all that noise she's making. Come here. Hey, kitty. Hi. Say hi. Say hi. Hello. Kitty. She's like looking out the window. She's like, what is over there? Okay, you can go. And then favorite character. It would have to be Hermione, just because I feel like when I was younger, I was just kind of like her. I was very like bookish, especially like elementary and middle school. You know, high school I just started to be, like once I moved here to America, I started to like get more, like I had friends in Ukraine, but I had friends like in my neighborhood, but when I was at school, I was very like, you know, to the point. Like, I was just like, I don't care. You know, I'm here to make like my grades, and I was very like straight A's and all that, and you know, I didn't care about like what other people thought. I was just like, I got this. Okay, and then the next question, I have to hurry this video up because I'm talking too much. It's getting long. What would your Patronus be? It would have to be a cat, because I love cats, as you can tell, and I've always loved cats, and I feel very like cat-like sometimes because they're very like independent, but they're still very cute, and they get their way because we have to clean up their shit after them and feed them and all that. So they're like our masters. Somebody told me a joke. They were like, if aliens came to visit the fucking earth, they would think that the animals are in charge, because we're always walking after them and like picking up their shit and like after dogs and all that. So yeah, or it might be like not a cat, but something like feline, like I don't know, like a leopard or a lynx or something like that, or like a, not a bobcat because they don't have a tail, but something like very cat-like. Okay, next question. If you could have the Resurrection Stone, Invisibility Cloak, or the Elder Wand, which one would you choose? I would definitely choose the Invisibility Cloak, and if you have read the book and you choose something else, then you're an idiot. And then, what house would you be in? Well, it would have to be between a Gryffindor and Ravenclaw, because I feel like I am smart and I value knowledge very highly, so I would love Ravenclaw, but also I just like stand up for what I think, and I'm not afraid to just kind of like, you know, speak on my mind, or you know, just like the brave Gryffindors or whatever. But I don't know exactly how much bravery you have to get in, so I don't know if I would get in there. If not, then it would be Ravenclaw. But I would like to be a Gryffindor just because I like red. My like blankets are red, and then my bedding is like cream, so it's like kind of like a golden color, and then my bathroom is like red and gold, and You know, because I love red and gold, like just like the Gryffindors. And the next question, if you could meet any member of the cast, who would it be? Probably Emma Watson, because I feel like she's very like laid back and cool, and you know, she's very like, she's a great like actress and she's accomplished a lot, but she's still kind of humble. Like if you watch her interviews, I mean, I don't know her personally obviously, but if you watch her interviews, she's very like laid back. She's not like, you know, oh my gosh, like, you know, thinks she's like so hot, but you know, not like looks wise, but just like overall. So I would love to meet her. And actually somebody that I was talking to on this Harry Potter forum said that they met her, and you know, it was just like, oh my gosh, so lucky. And then the next question is, have you played any of the video games? Fuck no. If you were on the Quidditch team, which position would you play? First of all, I don't know if I would be any good at Quidditch, because just, I'm not that athletic. I mean, yeah, I've done like gymnastics and cheerleading and, you know, I dance and whatnot, but I don't think that's like has anything to do with being on a broom and not falling the fuck off of it. So I'm not really sure like if I would be good at it, but I would probably have to say probably the Seeker, and not just because Harry was it, but because one, I could not be a keeper because I'm scared of like balls flying towards my face. Like if I have to play something like volleyball or, you know, whatever, I'm like terrified. I don't know why, like maybe I got hit in the fucking face when I was little. I'm not really sure, but yeah, so I would be terrible as a keeper. And then the beaters, I would have to like say I probably don't have enough strength to like beat those bludgers around. And then the chasers, it just seems like they get hit a lot, and like not just by the bludgers, but like by other people, and yeah, fuck that. So I would probably have to be the Seeker. Okay, next question. There's only 2 left. Were you happy with the ending? Hell yes. Like I said, the 7th book was my very, 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 very favorite, and I love the ending because it all tied in together perfectly, so obviously I love it. And then the last question is, how much does Harry Potter mean to you? It means a lot to me, and you guys don't even know, like I'm obsessed with it. Like I've been to the Harry Potter world. I still have to do, I've never put up my vlog, actually, now that I think about it, from when I did at Harry Potter World, just because it was dark. By the time we came in there, it was winter, and by the time, you know, we got to the park, you know, because it was like a long line to get in, it got dark outside, and just like the video that I did do was really, really dark. I mean, I don't know, if you still want me to put that up, like comment below and let me know, and I will, but it was like back in 2010, so I don't know, it just like, you know, I go on Harry Potter forums, I have like these stickers that I even put on my wall on like the light switch. It says like Lumos and Nox, and I'm going to put a picture on Instagram of that, so follow me on Instagram and Twitter if you want to see. And then I have like this little Deathly Hallows decal on my car, even though I fucking hate stickers on cars. And I'm so like into it. I go on Harry Potter forums. I always reference Harry Potter to my friends, and you know, I just think in my head sometimes to references of it if I can't say it out loud. Like if I'm with people that don't even read it and don't understand what they wouldn't understand what I'm saying. I just always think of like different references. I'm like, well, in Harry Potter they did this and that, and they said this. So yeah, I'm pretty into it. So it means a lot to me, and I'm really, really sad that it ended. This series. Of course, it will always live on in my heart. But this cat keeps making noise. But I really hope that she comes out with something. I mean, I'm in Pottermore, so I like, you know, do all that stuff still. But I wish she would come up with like some more books. I have the other 2 books that she published. Well, actually 3, like the Quidditch Through the Ages, the, you know, book about like all the creatures and stuff, and then the Beetle the Bard book. I have those, but I wish it would publish something else, just because, I don't know, I'm so interested in everything. I know her like encyclopedia would probably never happen. I listened to podcasts, to the Mugglecast on iTunes, and they were talking about it, and they were like, yeah, it's probably never gonna happen. So I don't know, but I wish it would publish something else. Maybe like something, I'm sure she has like tons of like ideas and just like notes that she's never published, that never made it to the books because it's just like irrelevant information. It's just like extra, had nothing to do with the plot. It would just make the book longer, but it's just interesting to know. Just like, you know, I watched the interview with J.K. Rowling and like the year in life or whatever, and she showed like this diagram of everyone's children, you know, when like the Harry Potter ended, like when it was the epilogue or whatever, like, you know, years later. So it was really, really interesting. So something like that I think would be really, really cool to have. So anyway, this video is getting super long, so I'm going to go, guys. And let me know if you like it. Thumbs up. And also I'm planning to do videos on this channel every Monday. So subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Bye!